My name is Will Elder, and I am a business waste reduction planner here at Metro. Metro is the region's regional government, and it is a one-of-a-kind government in the United States in the sense that it has elected officials and is charged with overseeing kind of a regional strategy for the area rather than kind of this individual approach that you typically see in other areas where it's, city planning for its own needs, not necessarily taking into consideration the context of the entire community. And with that being said, kind of an idea that best describes our work is our saying, people, places, and open spaces. And so Metro oversees transportation planning, land use planning, solid waste and recycling planning, as well as kind of entertainment entertainment resources for the region. So in this case, you've got the zoo, the expo center, regional parks. And so really the whole idea is to make sure that the Portland region is livable and sustainable for the future. And so we try to coordinate all of that. As the business waste reduction planner, Metro has waste recovery goals. And so currently we have a goal of 64% of our waste stream should be recycled by this year. Unfortunately, we're at 54%. And so with commercial waste representing just a little under 50% of all the waste that's generated in the region, it's up to me to kind of create policies and strategies for increasing that. And one of the main tools that we have for doing that is actually our Recycle at Work program, where we work with local jurisdictions to get out and reach out to businesses to make sure that they have materials that they need. We give presentations and basically trying to bring awareness of opportunities that exist for businesses to recycle more and actually just basic waste reduction strategies as well. Well, I'm an actual former PSU alum. My undergrad is in economics, and then I also just recently graduated from the Masters of Urban and Regional Planning program. When I started the master's program, I came in contact with Community Environmental Services, which is kind of a research branch of the university. It's separate, but housed there in the university, and started doing work with the city of Portland, actually doing the Recycle at Work outreach. Over time, managed to find some opportunities to do internships with Portland Department of Transportation, or Office of Transportation, writing their sustainability plan, working with the Doubletree Hotel chain to basically write a case study on some of the local efforts that they were doing regarding sustainability. And all of that kind of came together to create kind of this very diverse background of business, sustainability, research, that worked really well for landing this position. I think in waking up every day and realizing that I'm doing good, there's just something really nice about knowing that every day I have a direct impact on the community that I live in, and that I'm actually making Portland, or the Portland region, a better place to live. That is really something amazing. And I also have an opportunity to work with some of really the smartest and brightest people in the industry doing what they're doing. So whether it's, the land use planners or, the organics recycling specialist or planner, these are really people that are passionate about what they're doing and really making a huge impact on the quality of life for our region. That 64% goal, we're not meeting our goal. And so, it's something that I think about every day as I'm trying to create policies and programs that are going to have an impact. Are we getting the most for the effort that we're putting in? Because we have a long way, well, not a long way, a ways to go to achieve that. So that's always in the back of my mind. And in particular, when you're working with individual behavior, it's always difficult. So, on any given day, our recycling specialists are in working with people who are very passionate about sustainability, but trying to put programs together that maybe, everyone in the organization isn't necessarily rallying behind. And so how do you get, an office of 75 people to really embrace a recycling program if you just, have that one champion. And I think that's really kind of the biggest challenge is, changing behavior, and whether that's through making programs simple and easy to use, or just the education that we provide to businesses. I think we try to keep as many options open for getting our foot in the door with businesses and letting them know what's available to them. I think that there are basic skills that are going to be valuable regardless of whether you're doing sustainability or any other profession. I think, an ability to listen to people's needs, an ability to, multitask. I mean, some of these are universal regardless of what you're doing. I've found that, in particular, being resourceful is probably the best asset that I've had, because quite often, we think of ourselves as sustainability professionals, and yet we don't have all the answers, and quite often it's a dynamic environment that we're working in, and so what was the answer, maybe a month ago or a year ago is not necessarily the correct answer today, because this is constantly evolving and we're finding out new information or markets change, and so being able to know where to go to get the answer is very valuable. And I think, certainly having knowledge about sustainability, I wouldn't say that a person walking into a sustainability job who has no knowledge of a triple bottom line is necessarily setting themselves up for success. However, is that the most important skill that they're bringing to the position? Probably not. So. Well, the first thing is, I think that the more diverse of a background you have, probably the better prepared you are for kind of a dynamic and changing environment like the sustainability world. I think that from my experience, having a background working with businesses, but then government, and maybe writing a case study, but then being exposed to policy. I don't think I was an expert on any one of those, but I had touched enough that it made me a very diverse person, and therefore able to kind of deal with that changing dynamic. And I think that the more you're exposed to different elements of whatever aspect of sustainability you're looking at, whether it's energy or waste reduction or the environment, it's going to make you a better person and certainly more marketable. In the case of solid waste and recycling, one of the organizations that we partner with the most is Master Recyclers. Now, say for instance you're wanting to get involved in more kind of community-based activities. I would say, hey, get involved with your neighborhood association. Find out what some of the groups that are always at the Earth Day celebrations are doing to kind of build community. So it really it depends on which way you want to take your career. However, there are organizations in this community that are involved in all of it. And so, I think if you know somebody who's doing it, don't be afraid to ask for an informational interview. Ask the same questions you're asking now. Find out what they did, and then find out what organizations they're involved in is going to be really important. So I think, targeting that and not just hoping that you accidentally stumble on the right group to meet. Another example of kind of a more diverse group is Green Drinks that get together, and they usually invite a presenter down to talk, and it's a social opportunity, and that's a very diverse group of people who come from all sorts of backgrounds or just even interest in sustainability.